A very good evening. You're watching News 9 with me, Akshita. Well, first up, Pawan Kalyan's threat to KCR created a furor and trouble seems to be mounting for the actor turned politician. Now, the Nizamabad court has directed Dijpally police to register a case against Pawan Kalyan for his hate speech. Well, more trouble for Pawan Kalyan there. He has been known as a very aggressive speaker, but this time around, his comments on K. Chandrasekhar Rao definitely has landed him in a spot of bother. My colleague Durga Prasad now joins us over the phone line with more information. Durga, if you could also throw more light as to what exactly Pawan Kalyan had said.
Akshita, this would probably be the first lesson in politics for Pawan Kalyan to learn. Trying to play very politics in a hard way and trying to come out with rhetoric on public platforms and taking his opponents, criticizing his opponents. And perhaps this is the flip side of politics that Pawan Kalyan would soon be realizing. And Pawan Kalyan recently, in fact, on Saturday, made a scathing attack on TRS President K. Chandrasekhar Rao. In fact, Pawan Kalyan was very severe against Chandrasekhar Rao for criticizing Narendra Modi, whom he called the BC Prime Minister, the first BC Prime Minister in the making. And Chandrasekhar Rao criticizing Narendra Modi as is something that the Pawan Kalyan has taken serious objection to. And he said in a fit of rage, he said at a meeting in Warangal on that day, on Saturday, that if K. Chandrasekhar Rao continues to target Narendra Modi, then he's going to peel his skin off. And that was the remark that has really infuriated all the TRS rank and file and also KCR himself. In fact, in the last 2-3 days, both the leaders, in fact, Pawan Kalyan and also K. Chandrasekhar Rao, both of them have been locked in a war of words and they have been exchanging, trading barbs at each other. Yesterday, in retaliation to what Pawan Kalyan has said, KCR said that, if he wants, he can get Pawan Kalyan 30 to 1,000 pieces in just a chutki. And this is something that he said in a very colloquial manner, but still being the high-profile leader and the president of Telangana Rashtra Samiti, his statement definitely holds water. Whatever statements that he makes definitely holds water. Same thing applies to even Pawan Kalyan. So there has been some serious war of words going on. And today, one lawyer from Hyderabad by name Ravi, he has approached the Nizamabad court. He has filed a petition stating that Pawan Kalyan's comments against KCR amounts to only hate speech. And taking this petition up, the court has directed Dijpally police. Dijpally is a place in Nizamabad, the district itself. The court has directed these police to file a case, register a case against Pawan Kalyan on the sections of, trying to come up with the hate speech. And ironically, Pawan Kalyan made these comments against KCR, stating that whatever KCR is talking these days as a rabble-rouser, it is only hurting the integrity of the nation. And ironically, for coming out with such a statement that he's being now, he's finding himself in a serious spot of bother, Akshita.
Absolutely, Durga. But also, of course, these two have been going at it, going against each other for quite some time now. Do take us through their history as well. It looks like Pawan Kalyan and KCR have been battling it out for quite some time now.
In fact, the war of words between Pawan Kalyan and K. Chandrasekhar Rao has started the very day that Pawan Kalyan has come out with his Janasena outfit. On the very day, Pawan Kalyan spoke about a lot of issues. One of the most prominent of them was that how Telangana Rashtra Samiti has been trying to divide people in the lines of regional divide. Pawan Kalyan was very anguished that people of Telugu people were being divided on the regional lines, and he said that okay, whatever has happened so far has happened. Now that the two states are being created, let the leaders not indulge in the same rabble rousing, so that people live in peace. And that's what he said. And on the very platform, he used the same words that he used, on Saturday at Warangal. And that time the TRS rank and file chose to take it easily just because elections were impending. And now that the election pace has picked up, the TRS has found it important for itself, to come out in retaliation for whatever Pawan Kalyan has said. In fact, Pawan Kalyan has been very openly criticizing KCR at every place. In fact, the place where he made these statements. It was in the heart of Telangana, in fact, and that is something that the TRS would not be taking it so simply, and it would not be ignoring that. So, Pavan Kalyan, a film star who is regarded as a man from Simandra, coming into the heartland of Telangana and making statements and daring K. Chandrasekhar Rao was something that has really rather started this war of words, and that is the reason why KCR has come out with his style of statements. In fact, KCR is very much known for coming out with very filthy taunts, even from public places, public platforms. So it has created a real war of words. And today, even Chandrababu Naidu was seen coming to the rescue of Pavan Kalyan. He also came out, criticizing Chandrasekhar Rao. And this war is just picking up as the election campaigning is coming to an end, Akshita.
Right, Durga, thank you so much for joining us with all those details, but definitely trouble for Pavan Kalyan there after he went on to make a rather controversial statement against TRS chief K. Chandrasekhar Rao. Pavan Kalyan had gone on to state that he will peel off KCR's skin if he abuses Narendra Modi. This came after KCR went on to describe Modi as a madman who does not understand anything about Telangana. But after this jibe by Pavan Kalyan, which almost seemed like a death threat of sorts, KCR went on to retort, saying that if I pinch him, Pavan Kalyan will roll 1,000 times and fall. So definitely looks like the war of words between these two men has escalated to an all-new level where they are in fact initiating death threats almost against each other. And now in Nizamabad court spelling trouble for Pavan Kalyan by ordering his arrest. And moving on, days after 20-year-old Shilpa breathed her last in Mandya, shocking details have come to light. News9 has gained access to the dying declaration of the victim. And this is what she had to say. And I quote, I, Shilpa, resident of Bhairaveshwara Nagar of Matehalli in Mysore, am married to Abhijit. Abhijit and I had a love marriage against the wishes of his family. Yesterday, that is on 23rd April 2014, Puttaswamy, the brother of my father-in-law and my relative Pramila, took me to Mudukottere to visit a temple. We left on a bike and in about 2 hours. After offering prayers, they asked me to accompany them to my husband's grandparents' residence in Nelamakanahalli. At around midnight, they woke me up and asked me to follow them outside the house. When we were out, they tied me up and dragged me to a desolate place. They then poured kerosene on me and set me ablaze. I screamed for help, but there was nobody around. Puttaswamy and Pramila fled the scene. Locals found me lying on the road in the morning. They called an ambulance and rushed me to the hospital. I request you to take strict action against the offenders. 20-year-old Shilpa going ahead and talking about the ordeal that she had to undergo. Remember, she suffered critical burn injuries and passed away in a hospital. The kind of torture that this girl was made to undergo is unbelievable, but she was still brave enough to pen down everything that took place and named the people who were responsible, and the 20-year-old paying with her life for no fault of hers. My colleague Bansi joins us over the phone line with more information. Bansi, take us through exactly what took place.
Well, Akshata, if you recall, this is a case of a 20-year-old girl who was tortured, stripped and set ablaze. And her fault was that she had married the wrong person. Because although it was a love marriage and Shilpa was from a different caste, and her husband Abhijit, about 4 years older than her, was from a different caste, and there was a lot of family resistance, she still went ahead and got married to him. So that was her only fault, for which her groom's relatives, in fact the relationship is that the man who took her was her father's own brother, was her father-in-law's own brother and his wife. They had taken her, and thereafter they had attempted to kill her. Now, the dying declaration is here with us. The dying declaration clearly says that on the 23rd, Puttaswamy, who is the brother of her father-in-law, and Pramila, they had taken her to the Mudukottere to visit a temple, Mallikarjuna temple there. And thereafter, after visiting the temple. This is Mallikarjuna Swami temple. After visiting the temple, they left on a motorcycle, and they had taken her to her husband's grandparents' residence. This is in a place called Nellamakkanahalli. And around midnight, surprisingly, even as she was asleep, they woke her up very forcibly and asked her to follow them outside the house. When they were outside, on some pretext, they in fact bound her and dragged her to a desolate place, doused her in kerosene and set her ablaze. And she lay screaming for help there. But since it's the area around that place is wooded area, and it was so late in the night, there was nobody who came to her help. Thereafter, Puttaswamy and Pramila had fled the scene. No sooner they had doused her in kerosene and set her ablaze, the two of them fled. The neighbors in that, the people of the neighborhood, they found her lying beside the street in a semi-conscious state very early in the morning. As they found her, they called an ambulance, and soon after they rushed her to the hospital. And it was there that 20-year-old Shilpa has given this dying declaration. A very gory incident indeed, Akshata.
Absolutely, Bansi, but also yet another case of honor killing coming to light, and this one brutal to say in the least. We do understand that all the relatives involved have been arrested as well.
Well, the police have picked up Pramila, and they have interrogated her, because from her confessional statement and from whatever the circumstantial evidence and other evidences they have, that they are trying to piece together the entire story. So yes, they do have details, and they have taken Pramila into custody, and she is being interrogated. In fact, Pramila has been in the custody of the police for about 2 days now, and for about 4 days now, and she is being questioned on all these details, because the dying declaration and Pramila's initial version were different. But soon after, they have been questioning Pramila on the dying declaration also, Akshata.
Right, Bansi, thank you so much for joining us with all those details. But 20-year-old Shilpa, while in fact lying on her deathbed, went on to write a statement naming specifically who was responsible. She named two people, of course, Puttaswamy and his wife Pramila. They were the two who set her on fire. It was a case of honor killing, and of course it was because they were afraid of the social stigma of getting a girl from a different caste into their family. Unfortunately, Shilpa passed away while being treated in a hospital, but everyone responsible, the father-in-law as well as Puttaswamy, as well as his wife, and of course Nagamma, who is of course the mother-in-law, have all been taken into custody. They have been remanded to judicial custody till May 6th. They have confessed to their crime, stating that yes, they were afraid of the social stigma and hence resorted to honor killing.